Welcome to LandlordEzy. In this segment, we're going to talk to you about E-Lease Signing. We specifically designed this for landlords in Ontario, so that way you don't have to download Adobe, you don't have to download PDFs, you don't have to have the glitch of when you open it, it's not even going to open the document. All of that is over. We've really revamped the entire system, and now we're doing E-Lease Signing directly on LandlordEzy, and we're putting together the signed lease directly on LandlordEzy. I have Evan here. He's part of our team. He's going to go over the E-Lease signing with you. And once you see this video, you're going to want to make sure that you're doing E-Lease signing through LandlordEzy. Hey, Evan, how are you today?
Good. Thanks, Paul.
Awesome. Let's jump right into it and let's show the landlords how we're going to save them tons of time and tons of trouble.
Yeah, awesome. So, as Paul was saying, much easier to do the e-lease signing. We have two features here on our platform. This first option here is for landlords who have new tenants and they need to create new leases for their tenants. And the second option here is for landlords who already have a tenant and they just need to upload a PDF of the already signed lease agreement. So we'll go ahead and start with the first option here. So the new lease signing for fresh tenants. Okay, so the first section here, parties to the agreement. So this is just going over the landlord's information here and the tenant's information. So input the tenant's full name, just a single tenant here, their full name and their email address. This will be the email address they are notified to sign the lease agreement on. So it's very important that this lease or this email address is perfect. And then landlord legal name, if there's multiple landlords, you're free to input multiple names here in this one field. And then any joint tenants or any secondary tenants or family members that will be tenants, they just get applied here at the joint tenant field. So their contact information, some of this, and all the information we input here and up here will go right to their tenant profile and will be available for you to view anytime.
That's
So up
awesome.
to 3 additional tenants can get inputted here.
That's really good. And you mentioned it goes right to the tenant profile. And that's huge because once this is done, it goes to the tenant profile. And now landlords have access to that lease directly on LandlordEzy with the tenant profile.
Then coming down here to the rental unit. So this is just going to display all the information for the rental property, street number, street name. If it's an apartment or a lower unit or anything like that, you can put it here. And also it goes over the parking. So you're able to specify driveway, garage, etc. in this field here. And all the information displayed not only in the section above in this section, but throughout the whole e-lease signing will go straight to the tenant profile. So this as well gets straight inputted for your notices and everything like that as well. So you have the option here to select whether or not it is a condominium. And then coming down over to the landlord and tenant contact information. This section is super important because of these features down here. This is how you will serve your tenant any notices. So any N4s, any legal notices that you need to serve your tenant. Much easier if you're able to serve them via email, and our platform will actually be able to serve them for you via email. But it's important that when you create your lease, that the tenant has given you permission to input their email address on the lease for serving notices, as well as the emergency contact information. You won't be required to put in a phone number and an email, but just a phone number for after hours emergencies. Coming down to the terms of the tenancy. So this is where you'll be deciding their start date and their end date, and we give you the option to determine the type of tenancy it's going to be, whether that's monthly or weekly or any other type of tenancy arrangement that you might have in order. Going down straight into the rent, you'll be able to apply when the tenant pays rent of each month. I know some of you landlords, it's on random days in the month. Most oftentimes it'll be the first of the month. And then you get to decide the rent amount here. Also, if there's any additional fees, if you're charging the tenant, let's say $100 an extra month in parking, it will automatically update and do the math here for you on our platform. So that's just not for parking, but any other additional service like internet or any other amenities that you'll be charging the tenant for, and it'll do the math here for you.
And this will automatically propagate directly on the Ontario standard lease as well.
Going into here, so who will be receiving the rent? So most oftentimes this is the landlord themselves or their spouse, or maybe their property manager or representative is collecting the rent for them. So that will be where that's information displayed. And then how you would like the rent to be paid. So whether it's e-transfer, if you have special like a password or question that you want the e-transfer to be set to, all that information can get written here, and this will auto populate to the Ontario standard as well. If your tenant is coming for a partial month, so their first period won't be for a full month, you have the option here to set a prorated amount. So you can set the prorated amount to whatever you'd like. It covers the period set between these two fields here, and when the tenant will make the payment. So when the payment is due, you can select that here in the calendar as well. NSF charges. So if you would like to charge your tenant any NSF fees, you have the option to do that here as well. And then going down to services and utilities. This is a super important one here. Similar to the Ontario lease, yes and no. On-site laundry, you have the option to select multiple fields. Same with the guest parking here. And then any other additional amenities here that are included in the rent. So different from up here where these are paid services, we're just inputting services included in the rent. So appliances, if the landlord's paying for internet, other things like that, cable TV. So that will all be included here as well, along with the basic amenities like electricity, heat, and water, and whose responsibility those are to cover. I know some landlords have special arrangements like percentage splits with the utilities and other things like that. So that's where you can input the details of the arrangement here. So if it's a 60-40 split between the basement and upper unit or anything like that, the arrangements can just be put down into here and it'll generate onto the PDF lease for you. So any rent discounts that you'll be applying for any specific reason, you can input the reason here as well. Last month's rent and how much of a deposit you'll be collecting, and the key deposit. So these two things here will convert straight over to the tenant profile. So if 5-6 years down the line, you'll always remember what the deposit was collected and how much it was collected for. And same for the key deposit. So this will automatically generate into the tenant's profile. You'll have the date that it was paid and the amount as well. So these are both super important. Smoking rules, you have the option to create custom smoking rules. So any and all rules or guidelines that you want your tenant to follow in relation to smoking can get inputted here. This is also another super important one. And tenant insurance, whether you require your tenant to be insured with liability insurance. And then the additional terms. So this is where we would input any addendums or additional clauses that you would like the tenant to follow that's not covered by other areas in the lease. Typically, if you were using Adobe or any other platform, you would have to attach a separate document as the additional terms. But with our platform, whatever you put into this field here automatically generates additional documents for you. Just blank documents that will attach to the rear of the lease as soon as it's completed. And then once you've gone through and you've verified that all your information here is correct, you are able to save the lease and notify the tenant. So this will send an email to the email address of the tenant you have listed above here, and they will receive a prompt from LandlordEzy prompting them to click the link and sign the lease agreement. And then once the lease agreement is signed by the tenant, as soon as you log into your LandlordEzy account, you will receive a pop-up that prompts you, your tenant has signed the lease agreement, please review and sign your copy as well. So that's super useful. No more Authentisign or printing and scanning documents, nothing like that. So that's for creating new leases. We also have a feature here for landlords who already have tenants. If you're not inputting new tenants or your building's not vacant, you already have some long-standing tenants in there, you can input their information here, their lease information, exact same as it was in the previous lease. The only difference with this one is you'll have the option whether or not you want the tenant to receive a notification. You can also upload the PDF document itself, and any other um, lease documents that you have and you want to attach, like special or additional terms or anything like that. You can also attach the previous PDF leases into here. So yeah, Paul, that's the easy lease signing. Is there anything else you wanted me to cover?
I think that's amazing. We've created such a powerful tool here. And I know, Evan, we have been talking day and night, not just us, the rest of our team, our AI coders, and developing this. Can you just show us where on a tenant profile they're going to find this lease as soon as they submit it,
Yeah,
or as soon as everyone has signed it?
yeah, of course. So we just have here some tester tenants that we have made for the purposes of these videos. And all the information that is displayed on her lease gets propagated into all the different features that our website has: income and expenses, rent details. This is where you'll be able to produce rent ledgers, and all of this information is pulled straight from the lease. Even this rent increase notification does the automatic calculation for you. And if you ever need to go back and view what you've inputted, you'll always have the option to see not only our version of the lease agreement and what you've manually inputted, but also you'll be able to see what the system has created for the Ontario Standard Lease Agreement. So you'll be able to verify that the information that you're putting into our website actually does get correctly inputted to the Ontario Standard Lease. So yeah, it's all there for you to see anytime.
Awesome. Well, there you have it, landlords. This is the e-lease signing part of LandlordEzy. There's so many other parts to this. We hope this video helped you out, and thank you for watching it, and happy landlording.